gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk, where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversation. I'm your host, Juice, aka The Ordinary Brother.
What's good, world? I go by the name of King Exodus, you know what I mean? AKA X. We back at it, man. We back at it, This has been a long time coming. I would pause and just like look into space, like how the Rock be doing when he's just like sensing a crowd and shit, but we can get straight into the episode, man. For
Oh
sure.
my goodness. All right, y'all. Life be life be life, and whatever you want to call it. Oh man. We're just gonna get right back into it, man. It's been a while since
Hmm.
y'all from us. A lot of progress has been made on both our ends at the end of the day. One of the main things I was telling X as we got back into the zone of doing this episode, I was like, listen, one thing I've been noticing, um, a lot of people are asking for direction lately. Some things about you growing and maturing. People want to know the information that you have experienced, knowledge that you have came about, wisdom that has grown within you. And that's always an important aspect when growing as an adult. I feel like when you get to a certain age limit, you should be able to start directing the younger folks in any type of direction that it is. Even if you got to use your personal experience, whether it's a good or bad or a negative one, it's all about enlightening the next individual so they can make better choices within their life. I have
Hmm.
a young buck, man, straight out of Pakistan, man, straight out of Pakistan, 18 years old. One day, this kid just walked up to me. He always see me around. He was just like, "Yo, uh, how do I go about executing a good life?" I was like, "At 18, you're asking that type of question?" I was like, "Yo, that's dissimilar." I was like, "Yo, where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Pakistan." They said, "I've been in the States for 5 years." I said, "So what's your background? What's your family?" Well, my family owns businesses, but I'm not looking to take after the family business. I'm looking to carve my own path. I was like, okay, that's some deep stuff. Usually people take what's already handed to them and try to multiply it from there. So as we're talking, he was just like, I was like, "So what are you planning on doing?" He's like, "Oh, I want to get to finance. I want to make six figures." I said, "100K? That's not bad." He said, "No, I want to make 600,000." He had a defiant number. I said, "Hey, this kid is different, right?" I used to like, yeah, ever since I got out of high school, I'm in college right now. He says, "I don't even hang around the same individuals no more. Most of my friends, they want to drink and party and they want to be around girls. I just want to stay focused. I want to get there as fast as I can." I said, "Listen, the best advice I can give you right now at 18 is understanding time management. Time management is going to be a big key in your life." I'm saying, listen, you might want to be straight focused on hitting the books, getting down that path, but do not take away from the small things like socializations and just enjoying yourself down the path. Just limit the stuff that you're around, right? I said, if I want to get off the phone with somebody quick, I'll just say, "Hey, listen, I'll talk to you later." I'll be like, "I'll call you back," or somebody call me. You got to have that same mentality when being around these people in person, when you really realize these conversations or what you're going through is not moving forward. And then you got to be like that with anybody. I always have a growth mindset, and you'll be there. Like I said, me and this kid still talk day to day. But like I said, for him to come from a different country and he already says what he set his path off to be, that was really impactful to me.
Hmm. Okay. Nice intro. Nice intro. So, um, my intro to the topic, life be life, man. First off, you never want to give up in whatever it is that you're pursuing. Um, I know a lot of intelligent people, a lot of ambitious people that have potential, but they get trapped inside of a cage called production. And being able to produce is something that's not as easy as people think it may be. So being able to produce, you're going to need consistency, right? And the consistency is not going to come when everything is how you want it to be. You have to show up when things don't align how you want them to. This is what makes you a warrior. This is what makes you consistently en route of becoming great. You know what I mean? So some people just want to be like mid-level successful. Some people just want different things out of life. But if you want to become iconic within your own rights, you have to be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing. Case in point, you know what I'm saying? We haven't been on the podcast for a minute, but for example, I make sure that I share content from Talking That Talk on my Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I try to, engage with the IG page. Um, Even if I do things within the personal realm of my life, which I just published a book in March, Power, Poetry, Redemption. Make sure you
Get
cop
that,
that on
man.
Amazon, man. Let me
Hey,
see,
see how
man.
that book
Got
up,
that
man? Let me see that
copyright
book, man.
there, man. Got that
Hey,
copyright there, man. You see
man,
that?
listen,
Yeah,
my boy
yeah. You
got
see
his
that,
own
man?
book,
You see that,
dog.
man? You want me to flip pages? What y'all want me to do, man?
Hey, hey, he went from flipping packs to flipping
You know
books,
what I
baby.
mean? Hey, next live, I might spit something for y'all. You know what I mean? But it's the consistency. So even so, I'm like, okay, bet. I hit up Juice. I'm like, hey, bro, like, I want to utilize, talking and talk, run ass through it. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, I'm not just looking out for self. I'm looking out for us. So everything retracts back to talking and talk. So you have to be active even when things don't align. I don't care what you got going on in your personal life. The job ain't giving you the hours they're supposed to give you. Money ain't aligning. Whatever it is, you're gonna have to sacrifice time and energy to get to the next level in whatever it is that you want to accomplish. You want to look better. You want to train harder. You want to be in better health, better shape. Whatever it is, you're gonna have to make sacrifices in order to make these things happen. And it's not gonna happen the way you want it to. And my last point on that would be timing. Timing is everything. Some people want to retract time and not make progress forward, and then some people just keep moving. You always want to be the person to keep moving because time is not going to give you what you want in order for you to move to the next level. You know what I mean? So these are just things you want to keep in mind when it comes to consistency. Practice makes perfect, and I know that sounds cliche, but the craft work that you put into whatever it is that you're trying to become or do, that's what's going to make you excel. It's not always, I just watched the New Edition shit on Amazon Prime, and I'm late. The shit is old, but I tapped into it. And then even if you don't look at New Edition, you look at your favorite hip hop artists. 9 times out of 10, everybody's greatest album wasn't their first. It was like their second or third. You know what I'm saying? You have to put yourself in position by being consistent in order to reach your pinnacle or your peak. You know what I'm saying? Nipsey's Victory Lap album was his only album, but all of the shit before that was mixtapes.
Mixtape.
So you just got to stay consistent, keep working, always show up. Even if you don't, what I'm saying, you have a delay in life, you just got to move past that shit and keep going. Even if you don't see the results that you want to see at that particular time, somebody's always watching, somebody's always getting motivated by what you're doing, whether you realize it or not. And then metrics are important. Do you want like different types of satisfaction on what you're doing, or do you actually want to have actual impact? You're only going to have that if you can impact yourself by being consistent. So you got.
Man, uh, perfectly done, man. One thing I want to talk about is yesterday I had a teaching lesson with somebody over the word consciousness, right?
Mhm.
I broke down the different things that come about my life when it comes to certain categories. And consciousness is the awareness, the realization, the mindfulness, and also the recognition. When you improve your consciousness, you got to look at the things that you're aware of and what you're not aware of. This is why sometimes when you start becoming aware of certain things, it's so impactful on you, why you become so emotionally charged. It's one of those things where, like, some people will, if you ever hear the thing said, hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil, I mean, speak no
Mhm.
evil, your consciousness is one of those things. You see certain things and you want to uh, block yourself from paying attention to what's going on. But it's more consciously, you should be more aware of how to move about. And the realization when you come in terms with this, you know how to move better, right? Uh, Before I took a nap today, I told myself, I was like, yeah, man, okay, I'm gonna nap about an hour. If I do anything longer than an hour, then I know I ain't gonna have this type of time. It's like when you start putting yourself on that, how you want to say that hamster wheel or just on that go mode, you understand time is of the essence. And like they said, you can't pause life. You know what I'm saying? You can pause the game. You can pause the movie. You can pause your stream. You can't pause reality. And most people keep thinking there's longer time, there's no more time, right? That's why I always say it's important to understand what type of quotes and what type of models you live by. One person is going to tell you, hey, you got all time in the world, and one person is going to tell you, you don't have all the time in the world. You got to choose which one you're going to recognize within yourself, and then you got to move according to that. Now, when it comes now, you have to also understand time does have to play a factor to certain things for opportunities to come about. And sometimes you just got to make those opportunities. I'm constantly putting myself in a or B situation or if or situation. Listen, if this happens, then I'm gonna go forward. If this doesn't happen, I'm gonna go this way, then I'm gonna move that way. You have to always make these type of choices in order to see some type of advancements in your life. And like I said, your consciousness is one of the biggest things. Like, how do you improve your consciousness? You gotta learn how to give grace. You become empathetic. You
Mm-hmm.
learn, teach. You ask for help. You ask for guidance. You ask for mentorship. You know what I'm saying? And you understand other people's perspectives that you take in to improve yourself. That's
Mm-hmm.
why sometimes I ask people, hey, what does the word ambitious mean to you? Fuck the definition. I got to see what resonates within you first before I can use it. Before I can use it in a term that's correct, or I just use it in a terminology that best fits for you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So that's one of the things I want to say. As you advance, keep improving your consciousness, your awareness, your mindfulness, your recognition, and realization, and you'll move a lot faster.
Yes, sir. Gratitude is the door of many great things. You can't progress in life without showing gratitude for what you have. One of the kicks I've been on recently, since we're talking about life, is I haven't fully embraced the Muslim faith, but I have been making it a point to pray 5 times a day. I've already been on like a structured system of dieting and all these things for years, so that's nothing new. But I do implement that consistency of being connected to that higher power, higher source, whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, God, Allah, whatever. So yes, gratitude is the door to many great things. You don't get to the next level in life without showing gratitude for the things that you already possess. And that's anything that you have that's tangible or non-tangible, intangible. Um, it could be gifts, it could be talent, skill sets, your abilities to do things that other people can't do, or it can be everything that you have physically. Even the things that you look at, you could probably hate your job. You probably don't like the car you drive that much. You know, you probably want a better car. You know what I'm saying? You probably want a better looking woman. Whatever it is you want better in your life. You still have to show gratitude for everything that you have first before you can level up and move on to the next level. Everybody just want to move on and, you know what I'm saying, ante up. But gratitude is where everything great begins. So moving on from gratitude, I want to hop into discipline. Discipline is being able to not just do the things that you want to do on a consistent basis, is doing the things that you don't want to do on a consistent basis. You have to do great things when no one's looking. You have to practice greatness in order to actually tap into that greatness being your reality or your actuality. So practicing great things means that you intake a lot of stress, sometimes voluntarily, to become greater or become better than what you was previously. So you want to set challenges for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, yo, uh, this week I want to read so many pages of this book. I want to do so many push-ups. I want to, you know what I'm saying, run a mile, 2 miles, whatever it is. You have to challenge yourself. You are your biggest critic, your worst critic. You sometimes, and within a certain capacity, you're your own deity, your own God.
Mm-hmm.
You have to govern over your own body, your own mind, your own temple in order for you to become whatever it is you want to become in life. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have destinations in life. We're talking about life. Life is a journey, but you don't want to live your life without any particular destinations. So being disciplined is a lot of people's struggles. You know what I mean? Because some people need, like you said earlier, Zeus, some people need guidance. We all need guidance. But at the end of the day, you have to get into a particular space to where you can govern over yourself. One thing we talked about in the past is we both have had our whiteboards on our refrigerators. I still do the whiteboard shit on the refrigerator. I write down different things I want to accomplish for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And my kudos to myself is when I can erase some shit off that board because I actually accomplished that. You know what I'm saying? So I never want to be the type of person to where I'm still talking about what I want to accomplish, and it's another year that passed.
Mm-hmm.
Another month passed. I'm still talking about what I want to do, what I'm going to do, what I got in my mind. Let's get this shit out of our minds and get it into the real world. Let's actually manifest, right? That's a loaded word people use these days, but let's actually manifest it. You manifest it by being disciplined in your actions and consistency. So, whatever you got to do to nudge yourself, some people go join the military because they know they lack discipline. Some people go hire personal trainers,
Life
coaches.
coaches. Mhm.
Some people like myself, YouTube University. I just watch a lot of YouTube videos, you know what I'm saying, for free. And that's how I tap into certain things, read a lot of books. I hit the gym up a lot. You also want to be a man and woman of your word when it comes to discipline. I hate it when people say, man, I'm going to give up pork. And next month, they like, damn, I ate the shit out of some bacon this morning. I'm like, you just said you want to give up pork. Like, so even in that sense, what type of punishment do you give yourself?
Mm.
Right? You govern over self. So if you have a reward system to where, hey, I did good today, I'm gonna go get my favorite ice cream. I'm just saying I'm throwing some shit out there. I don't know if everybody eat ice cream or not. You have to come up with systems to where you punish yourself. Damn, I let myself down. 50 push-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, run 2 miles, wall sits. I don't know, whatever it is. You have to be your own goddamn life coach and sergeant at times. So discipline is key. You don't get nowhere without discipline. You don't get nowhere without gratitude. So you got it.
Man, uh, one thing you was talking about gratitude, man. First thing went through my mind is I always talk about like I'm a scholar when it comes to information. I don't specifically subscribe to anything, but one of my favorite songs when I go to church is Grateful. Like every time I hear that song, I'm grateful, but like something inside me internally starts moving. Like sometimes I get teary eyed. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if it's the vocals or me just being in that atmosphere, but that song Grateful, it just always moves me in a different direction. I'm grateful for the wins. I'm grateful for the losses. I'm grateful for having the ability. I'm grateful for learning the lessons. It's being so grateful for every step that you take is one of the biggest things of acknowledgement of maturity and also knowing better. You're less ignorant when you take the opportunities to learn. One of the things I wanted to grab was this book called The Art of Letting Go. Good book. Good book. I'm always reading. Y'all see all the books? It'll be like 2 shelves by the time y'all start seeing more episodes. And it's Stop Overthinking, Stop Negative Spirals, and Find Emotional Freedom. One of the biggest things that you posted not too long ago, it affected me so much. It was powerful. He said, I believe it said, hey, listen, 99% is what you think about, and what was it? 99% of what you think about, and 1% is what actually has happened. It's
Right.
like the overthinking analogy. And I was like, yo, that's crazy that sometimes the things that happen to us, we keep in our minds so long that it has impact of stress. Of it starts stress. I know situations I was thinking about, I could feel like stress knots in my neck. And I remember like reading that post over and like, yo, I got to let that go. So one of the things I have always had is like, sometimes I have said in the past when we did the episode was like, hey, who said grudges are a bad thing? Because some of the biggest things in this earth was created through competition and grudges. But at the same time, I have said, and our ex agreed, it's like sometimes you have to find a different source of energy. If your stuff is always stressful impacts, people don't even say stress is killing your body. And you're killing your body, you know what I'm saying? You're starting to weigh down. It's going to, man, there's so much stuff with that. I'll let somebody else explain that. But to get back on track when it comes to the consistency, man, one thing I'm gonna say right now is y'all need to drink more water. This is not a paid program, but you go drink some water. You gonna have to put some water in your life, some alkaline or something. You need to drink more water, man. All right, now back to the show. That's one of the consistency things I need y'all to start doing, man. Fuel your body with some water. That's one of the best things to wake up to. That's one of the things I only touch in my body when I wake up is water. I'm not doing coffee. I'm not doing tea. Well, ain't wrong with tea, but I'm saying I need H2O first. One of the craziest things that I like in this book that I came across today rereading was they was talking about the difference between perfectionism and excellism. There's like perfectionism is just always trying to be perfect no matter what, but they talk about the greatest impacts if you never reach it. And they said excellism is a way that even though you have set the highest standards that you can set, even if you don't make it, you learn from that and you're still able to grow. So one has a bigger impact, even though you're setting the same goals, but it has less stress and weight on the mind. I was just like, God damn. I was like, it's some things that we don't talk about that we all strive to become.
Mm-hmm.
and we realize we don't understand the effects of it. So I know I always say you could you can always chase perfection, but you can never be perfect. But excellence was just a different outweigh. It's like looking like, hey, you achieve something high, even though you didn't get it, you're still able to move forward and build up off that. So within the book, it's just basically saying you can build momentum chasing excellence than you can chase perfectionism. I was like, wow, I never looked at it like that. That's all I got right there.
And even on that note, chasing being perfect, right? That's a never ending journey. Healers need healers, doctors need doctors. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you said this before, you feel me? So your journey never ends if that's the case. If you're chasing perfection, you may not never see it actually come into fruition, but you always become better. And that's what the beauty is when you chase perfection. But it's something that you never really attain. You know what I'm saying? This I ain't gonna go too far into that, but one of the things that motivate me the most in life is time, right? So every day I wake up, boom, gratitude. I'm grateful for another day, another 24 hours, right? So a lot of people don't have to come from the most negative situations in a living world, right? But we come from a place to where, yo, you wake up, you make it past 21, 25, you great. You know what I'm saying? You free past 20, you great. You know what I mean? You're doing more than what the average person is doing coming from where you come from. So in a time synopsis, if you look at it like what hit me is like, okay, bet when I hit 30, um, I hit my midlife crisis, quote unquote, kind of early because I was like, damn, it hit me and it was like, do I really have another 30 years? That's a
Mm,
question you got to ask yourself. Life
mm,
expectancy is like what, 72, 70? Well, the retirement age now is like 71, 72. Life expectancy for the average male, right, is probably
mm.
like 64, 65, something like that.
It was in the low
So,
70s now. It's dropping
right.
down.
Right. So you're lucky if you hit 30, yet alone lucky enough or blessed enough to hit another 30. So what are the memories that people have of you? The shit you did in the hood, how many people you beat up, your reputation, I don't know, you know, um, how great of an employee you were. You showed up on work on time. I don't know if people have said that about you. Um, you know what I mean? Like we touching some shit. You know, how many females you fucked, how many men you ran through if you're a female. What are people gonna say about you when you leave? You know what I'm saying? That is your input in history. History is never really like it can be rewritten based on wars and all that shit, but we kind of like past those times, right? So right now, what you post, the energy that you put out, the conversations that people have with you, if you're an asshole or if you're a great person, a good-hearted person, or a negative person, a narcissist, people say that a lot now. Like, what are people going to remember you by? That should fuel your fire every day. You should want to be remembered as somebody that was great, somebody that was giving, loving, kind, whatever, somebody that created families, somebody that defied the odds, whatever the odds may be. You have to think about these things. And sometimes within our community, we don't think about this shit until you're like 40, 50. You're already out the door damn near. Sad to say. Life expectancy, remember that. So you really don't get a lot of time on earth. Time is a loaded word when it comes to life. So you have to be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Nipsey had a bar. He was like, look, so many niggas doing time. So who are you and I to play with it? It's a blessing. So reach for the sky. You know what I'm saying? God damn, man. You
Take it back to life, bro. God
know what
damn.
I'm
Break
saying?
character
Hey,
like
man.
that, man.
This is just us being rusty. It's the first episode. You know, it's gonna get better. But you have to be aware of time. You really don't have that much time. So every day you want to work on becoming a better version of yourself. And sometimes that calls separation. Sometimes you gotta separate from friends, families, employees, coworkers, whoever, relationships, to become the best version of yourself. And this is kind of like the loaded scenario to where we can talk about people that's incarcerated. a lot of people that's incarcerated are separated from all devices that can distract them to become negative sometimes. And it inputs within them a higher level of consciousness and drive and work ethic, right? So when you always want to kind of like, that's what I kind of do personally. I kind of try to put myself into a box to where I'm in a box, right? To where vices are there, but I don't always tap into those negative vices. So you have to be real with yourself and know what your negative vices are. To some people, it's not always drugs. To some people, a negative vice could be attention. It could be their ego. It could be, you know what I'm saying, some shit that they ain't healed from their childhood. You have to be fully aware of what your negative vices are and disconnect from them ASAP, pronto. You're your own, you know what I'm saying, deity, you're your own God, self-law and master, right? So know what your negative vices are, and I think this could save a lot of people a lot of time. Some people want to be in this whole group setting to where everybody think they got the same negative vices, and that's not always the same, right? Because you could be in a box to where you're like, okay, bet I don't do what he do, I don't do what she do, so I'm good. No, you're not, because you got some personal shit within you that you need to fix. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you got that look good on paper, what kind of car you drive. You see all the time these quote unquote celebrities, people that make six figures, right? A lot of them have drug problems. A lot of them have addictions, whether it's spending money, whether it's doing whatever. Everybody has vices that they need to disconnect from. So you have to fully be aware of yourself, fully be conscious of yourself 100% of the times to know what you need to disconnect from. So that's it.
Oh, all right. Huh. Man, boy, going today, huh? One of the things I always say is my favorite I word is impact.
Mm.
Your impact will state everything about you, right? That's why one of the things is people say some people can walk in a room and impact the whole room just because of who they are.
Yes,
And
sir.
then you have some people who do a lot of talking, but they don't necessarily leave anything substance on the table. So one of my main things is myself is I live by a very impactful rule for myself. I realize depending on who I am or where I am, not who I am, I depend on where I am and certain conversation points. People are going to look at me as the good guy. Some people are going to look at me as the bad guy or the villain. It's all
Mhm.
about the perspectives of the dialogue we're going to be engaging in. Can we be respectful? Can we do stuff like that?
Mhm.
Because you can do everything correct, but in a person's mind, if the consciousness is not there, as we was talking about earlier, awareness, realization, mindfulness, the recognition, they'll take anything you say as something negative, and really you're trying to help them. That's
Mhm.
why some of the times that the best way for you to not actually retaliate is to simply ask questions. You ain't got to say nothing. And through your questionnaires and your questionnaire, as people answer them, they start digging within themselves that can trigger their own self. And it's not necessarily you doing anything at all. It's you trying to help them find the source to help them become better. I talked to my grandma the other day, and I said, Grandma, um, what do you say? Like, what do you do with people who contact you when they're down and out, but never when they're up? What do you technically say? Because I always feel like that's weird. You know, sometimes I don't want to talk to people who always contact me when they're on a downfall, but when they're good, you don't never hear from these people. Never hear from them. And my grandma was like, "Listen, the best thing you can do is offer people advice. Listen to them. That's the best thing you can do is because you have to be able to listen to people vent and you can help them sort out on how to do things better. I know a friend of mine that's went through a financial situation and I was just like, yo, uh, when all this happened, what were your expenses and what were you pushing? You know, what type of money was you having coming in?
Mhm.
And it's more so I was financially educating him, but he could took it as like, yo, bro, I'm struggling. You ain't trying to help me. You're not even trying to hear me. I was like, bro, it's best for me to make sure I help you assess what you're doing. So when money starts flowing again, you know what not to do, right? Some people shoot at me all the time. Be like, now why you tell people not to get the car they want? I'm like, bro, it makes no sense to get the car they want if you can't afford it. It makes no sense. So I'm sorry if I'm trying to look out for some of my homies, bro. But don't do something that's gonna create a hole in your pocket. So even with those type of situations, you gotta ask them like, yo, what are you spending when you're going out? Like, what are you doing? Like, how many dates are you doing? Can you cut back on certain things? It's like people don't want to hear you talk about certain things if you're not trying to help them. And that's what some of the things about therapy is asking the questions to help you. But what they always say, the difference between men therapists and women therapists, some people give you more sugar to keep you going, versus people who give you direct vegetables that make you want to walk away. It was some type of saying like that that was funny as hell to me. But this is what the difference between why people come back and why people don't come back. One of the best things I ever had in my life was when I was going through a downfall. My cousin was helping me out. I'm talking about, man, I was going through it, y'all. Donating plasma. Some of y'all heard about my plasma story, man. I was on that little machine reading my books. Like, I'm going to be out this thing one day, man. I always brought a book into the plasma center. People used to always peep that. That was my impact. They used to call me the book guy. People would be like, yo, what are you reading? Hey, what are some books you can help that interests me? Certain things like that. That was my impact. People knew me as the book guy. I always brought a book to the plasma center. I always tell myself I got to feed my mind in order to get out of this situation eventually. But even in that situation, my cousin would help me out with money at one point, and I remember it was one time I told him, "Hey, I'll meet you at 2 o'clock," and I didn't show up till 3 o'clock. He cut my water. He said, "Hey, listen, hey, due to that situation, that was kind of inconvenient for me at the time. I'm gonna need you to figure out how to move on your own and effectively." Now I could have been mad and been like, "God damn, bitch ass nigga, you see me talking, I'm asking you for money, man." But I looked at it like, okay, bro, it's time to figure it out. And that's some of the situations that y'all gonna have to go through. Is sometimes somebody needs to cut y'all water or shorten their time with you just so you can figure it out.
Cut that water off,
Cut that
man.
water off, man. Speed of water. Let me drink some more water.
Okay, so last thing come to mind based on what you were saying. A lot of people resent when you're down in life, whatever that is to you. So everybody is different. You know what I mean? Some people is like, look, if I ain't got nothing, I'm down. Some people is like, if I ain't got like 1,000, 2, 5,000, whatever, just sitting after bills is paid and everything, I'm down. Though it can vary, you know. But sometimes being down is what's necessary for you to become your highest version of yourself. You know, so you have to appreciate the struggles when they come, no matter what they are. Struggles, challenges, obstacles. These are the things that make you greater. You know, it's cliche, but if you want to go biblical, no one just prospered in the Bible. You know, no one just had a great time. We look at the main character. We can look at Jesus. We can look at Yeshua, whatever you want to call him. Dude had a great span, right? But around closer to 33, it started getting a little rocky, and then he got crucified. You know, so some people want to look at the story and they want to be like, okay, bet I want to be known. I want to heal. I want to do these things. And okay, bet. But nobody wants to get to the crucifixion side of the story. Nobody want to like walk with the crown of thorns on their head and carry the cross and none of that shit. You know. So the message is to appreciate the downtimes because that's when you build character and you show who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even in the content space, you know, I could just pop up on the camera, money good, shit looking right, everything how I want it to be. But I can also get in front of the camera, do my thing, be consistent, even when shit not aligning.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So in going back to when I said I looked at the New Edition documentary or whatever, you really don't know what people are going through until they put out their story. You don't know. You don't have a fucking clue. You just see these people on stage. You see them performing. You see them. It look like they're making money. You don't know what if they really making money or not. until they put out their documentaries or their stories, and you really see how rugged it was, how rough it was, how many losses they took, how many years. If you really want to be real about it, it take a lot of people 10+ years just to pop up on the TV in front of you, pop up in front of your YouTube channel, whatever it is. So it's not just about consistency. You have to appreciate the times where things don't align the way you want them to. This is what shows character. Because life is not gonna always do what you want it to do when you want it. When you want it. You know what I mean? So you just have to be aware of these different types of things. And people that kind of like tuck their tail when shit fall apart, I kind of don't associate those people on a day-to-day basis. You know, because I kind of know like what you made out of or what you're built from. It's not grit. You know, it's not toughness. So I tend to associate with people that can perform, right? No matter what's going on. Those are the people that I kind of tap into. I went to a fitness expo a couple of years ago, and it was different lines to meet different people. I met my boy Mike Rashid for the second time. His line wasn't that long.
Baby
No shade.
Rashid,
No
baby.
shade. No shade. Jay Cutler line was a little long. You know, it wasn't that long. But the longest fucking line was CT Flexion. And I thought I was one up because I got there at like 10 in the morning when the shit opened. I had a good spot in line, and then they was like, I'm talking to this one white boy, and no shade, but he was white. And he was like, yo, CT saved my life. He got me off drugs, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, bet. We first in line damn near. It's 10 o'clock. He say, yeah, but shit, I know. See, he ain't gonna pull up to 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, what? I'm like, 1 o'clock? It's 10 o'clock? Yo, I'm out this line. I'm like, CT, I love you, but I'm not gonna stand here this long. But needless to say, for people that don't know, CT's impact is no matter what happens, keep going, push forward. Life is challenging. It's still your motherfucking set. And it's not just about lifting weights, but in life, it's still your set. You still got to show up. You still got to do what you got to do no matter what happens. So he built a whole platform off of mental fortitude. That's what everybody likes him for. Whether you work out or not, it's the mental fortitude. When you need somebody to yell at you, tell you to get your ass up and go perform, people go to CT. So he built a whole platform. It's genuine off of mental fortitude. And that comes from the dark times. Then you watch his documentary. He got abused as a child. His dad, whooped him up. He grew up in a dysfunctional home. So life can make you, sometimes the only way it can make you great is if it puts you through adversity. But sometimes we get lost in the adversity and we think that this is the reality. No, the adversity is what makes you potentially great or more impactful because now you have a story. Imagine somebody getting on the camera and they trying to be a motivational speaker, a content creator, and they ain't never went through nothing. It's not going to sell. Even if it's not genuine, it's not going to sell. They can find a niche, they can find whatever, but eventually it's not going to sell. You could be a rapper, you could talk about, oh yeah, street shit, I sold drugs, I shot that dude, da da da. But eventually people going to find out, this nigga lying. He didn't do that. So life's obstacles make you great. So appreciate the downtimes because that's where you build character. So if you can, like you were saying, you still read books even when you was donating plasma. You was known as the book guy. Through a lot of situations in life, I still displayed discipline, whether it was nutritional, fitness, knowledge and information, books. People could look at me now and be like, damn, bro, like back then I ain't know this was gonna happen. I didn't know you was gonna talk like that. I didn't know you was gonna, I didn't know you was gonna put out books. I didn't know you was gonna podcast and none of that because people probably didn't see that potential. I don't know, but it's not where you come from. It's literally where you finish, and that goes back to time. You only have a limited amount of time, so you want to dedicate your time to being the best version of yourself. And how do you do that? You utilize the energy from your down times in life to push you further, and that can impact the next person. Now you got a follower. Now you got somebody that really is listening to what you're saying because they tapped into your energy. And it's not about how you look. It's not about how you present yourself. It's not about how much money you show on social media. They genuinely can connect with your message. So I'll close it off on that.
Oh man, the last thing I'll just touch up on that is, listen, if you want to know how your life is truly going, keep you a journal with you and document everything you do, how much time you spend on it.
Yep.
Once you do that, you'll understand why you're behind and why somebody's ahead.
Yep.
That's one of the coolest thing in reality. Like one thing about me, I'm big respect on work. Like I know people I don't like that outwork me. I still respect them. Like I respect work. It's like, bro, like how you gonna hate if a dude outworking you? He's just outworking you, dog. That's it. Like if you spend more time bullshitting and a person spend more time crafting, how could you hate? And somebody spend more time disciplining in themselves in certain fields while you want to have fun, entertainment. You know, you want to go out and club. You can't hate on the results. That's why every time when I hear somebody say certain things, I always bring it to their attention. I like, yo, bro, I know you personally. You watched about at least 4 movies in the last 2 days, and each movie's about 2 hours long. And then after you get out of work, you work what, an 8 hour, 10 hour shift. I was like, you got 24 hours in a day. How are you going to schedule your time to make sure you get something done? Where are you going to put 30 minutes to an hour aside to study something, to read something, to look up something? That's why one of the most important things for myself, I'm looking at one of my old whiteboards, is like, listen to one business seminar a day, listen to one mental seminar lecture. It's just all about what are you going to feed yourself throughout that day. That's why some of the best things in the world, I'd be like, yo, get the what do they got, the Apple Story, where you're looking at a YouTube University, listening to books. Like you gotta feed your mind. I keep telling my homeboy right now, it's like, listen, in your position right now, how you feed your mind is going to be the results of your future. Because while you're in sinking ship situation, if all you can think is down, you're going to keep going down. You got to think, how can you get up?
Fellas, I say this on my closing point. It's not a dude in this planet that I know of that within a day span, 2 days span, 3 days span, whatever, he don't aggressively pursue. I gotta bring it back. Classic word. He don't pursue the poom poom.
The booty.
Maybe not the booty, but the booty.
What?
Gotta be specific. People taking that, to actually, But anyway, if I feel like if men put the same energy that they put into females, right, pursuing that, every one of us will be a millionaire. So you have to track your time, track your energy. I hate it when I talk to guys and they're like, damn, oh man, you cooked, you clean, you worked out today, and you worked. Man, if I had that kind of time, and I cut them off. The fuck you mean if you had that kind? I don't have that kind of time. I work. Sometimes I work 6 days a week, 5 days a week, rarely 5 days a week. Overtime, how many hours you want to talk about? But at the end of the day, sometimes I don't close my eyes until I accomplish everything I want to accomplish for that day.
Yes, sir.
Read, listen to audiobooks. Because some people make these excuses. I don't have time to sit down and read. You got motherfucking audiobooks, YouTube. You can put some shit in your ears while you working, while you doing whatever. You have 24 hours in a day. You know what I mean? And so some people, going back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, he made it very popular to live off of 6 hours of sleep. Some people need 8. He told them, hey, look, sleep faster. Do what the fuck you got to do in your 24 hours to accomplish what you want to accomplish. No one cares if you're not granted how many hours you need to feel comfortable doing what you got to do. Get the shit done. I don't care if you got to wake up tired. You know what I'm saying? You guys drink coffee, healthy caffeine. I like V8 energy drinks in the morning. Whatever it is you got to do that shit. If you got to sleep on Sunday because that's your only day to sleep, do that shit. You got to sleep on Monday, do that shit because that's your only day. But at the end of the week, end of the month, end of the year, I don't want to hear you didn't have time for nothing as a man. I'm only speaking to men right now.
Yeah,
Get that shit
hey,
done.
bro, I want to hear that shit at all about
I want
that.
to hear that shit. You know what I mean? So I hate it when I talk to other men and they make it seem like I got luxury of time. No, the fuck I don't. I just utilize my time effectively, and even if it's, even if it goes to sex or whatever it is, that's on the downside. That's not the main priority of the day. That's at the
Shit.
end of the day. After we done read the books, we can listen to the audios, we can perform, we can hit the gym, we can cook, took care of the home, whatever. That come last. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all priorities be mixed up, man, and y'all want to blame the system and blame all these other things, but y'all too preoccupied into utilizing your time in negative ways, and you don't want to be honest about that shit. So
Whew.
use your time effectively, man.
Man,
No excuses.
I know that was the last one. I'll say this, man. If you don't have
Mm-hmm.
a productive day, you should be going to sleep. I get off early and I'll be like, okay, I gotta build something. I'll look at something I haven't opened in a box, get to building. Whether it's a chair,
Man.
furniture, nailing something against the wall, you gotta feel accomplished at the end of the day.
Man.
That's one of the most beautiful things is you going to sleep knowing that you've been productive is beautiful. Going to sleep that because you didn't do much, shit, you really don't get done. You really don't get nothing done. Uh, one of the main things I would say about this is to overcome things, adversity, to persevere. That's like the next level stage that you have to be able to hit.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't persevere through certain times, then hey, I don't know what to tell you. I literally have one of my friends right now. He did put up my TVs. He did built up a couple of my rooms. I told him, I said, look, man, if we can work out some type of deal, I'll work with you for free, man, and just to get some type of insight on how to use tools better. Like I'm always trying to become better. Like I went from the state of mindset, like I'd rather just pay people to do this shit to be like, listen, it's actually better if I know how to do certain things. Like I don't know about you fellas, but you ever built something in front of a woman and they be like, who? I'm sorry, like some people get them goosebumps, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember what my homeboy said, he be in these houses with them women that be single, they forget like, yo, hey baby, you gotta pay for this service, he said they forget it, all of a
Hey,
sudden they walk around.
hey, hey, I could drill a lot of things, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I can
That's
drill.
what they say. The mailman rings twice. That's hey. That was about the mailman coming by.
Dropping
Put
packages.
that work. Put that work.
Uh, hey, but for real on the man side, get around other great men and don't feel intimidated. Like everybody got their position, everybody got their role, everybody got their place. Like you may not be the greatest man in your circle, but when you step outside that circle, you might be the shit. So don't be like had a whole like star to show mentality, Bobby Brown type of shit, ego, whatever. Get around men that's greater than you. Get around people that's greater than you. Soak up knowledge and information and game, right? And then you take that energy, become better, and then you can be that same person to other people. But sometimes everybody want to be the greatest person or the best person in every circle, and life don't work like that. So
No, sir.
if you really want to utilize time properly, always challenge yourself to be around people that's better than you. For the fellas, specifically. Like,
Listen.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you always want to be in a room and you're not the smartest person in the room. You always want to be in those type of positions. And even if you are the smartest person in the room, you still want to like humble down a little bit, right? Don't soak up the ego, but have that same energy because somebody gave you that energy. Somebody gave you that game, that knowledge, that information, that chance to learn from them. So teach. Each one teach one.
Each one
Sometimes we
teach.
want to tap into a lot of information and opportunities and hold it to ourselves because you feel like you're in competition with the next person. But if you feel like you're competing with everybody in your circle as a man, something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You're not in the right circle. Something's wrong with you personally. It's not about competition. You know what I'm saying? I always say that. We can compete with each other after we monopolize the world. We got to take over the world together. Then we can compete over 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 later after we take over the world, make sure our family's straight, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's AMD and Nvidia. I want to say the CEOs of the companies are cousins. So what is competition? If the two biggest chip making companies, right, in the stock space are related, is there really a such thing as competition? It's really not. It's all about family, legacy, going back to time. What do people remember you by? What do you leave behind for the next generation? That's what counts. We can compete amongst each other later once we take over the world. So first, you got to take over the world. Find you your wolf pack. Kevin Samuels spoke about that. Find you your wolf
Lions
pack.
Den, baby. You gotta find both. You need both. Fuck that.
Yeah. Find you your circle, your wolf pack. Y'all conquer the world, and then we can have our little friendly competition later. But if we compete with each other, let our egos outgrow our reality, our thinking spaces, and all these different types of things, we're gonna clash, and then we're gonna fight each other. We're gonna kill each other off, and then the families that already got the leverage, we always talk about like the Rothschilds and all these different types of families, they're gonna keep the leverage because we're fighting over scraps. I ain't fighting over scraps. You know what I mean? So I'm done.
All right, man. Last thing, and then we'll close it out. I was like, listen, I am very much that type of individual. I am always in some uncomfortable situations. I'll look up something I want to potentially like invest into or get into. I'll be in them. I'll be in them rooms, these events, not knowing a goddamn thing. I always was taught this. There's possibilities and there's probabilities.
Mm,
Possibilities
mm,
are endless.
mm,
Probabilities state what can happen.
mm.
I'm going to increase my probability as much as possible by putting myself in the most uncomfortable positions. So, like I said, I'll leave from that area and go to another area, and I eventually could be potentially smarter than the other individuals there. But when I go to that same area, I know I'm at the bottom. But see, being at the bottom is not necessarily at the bottom. It just depends where you're at and what you're looking at. At the top, if you're in a room full of CEOs and everybody's a millionaire.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, but like I said, one thing they always said, like, if you're in a room full of CEOs, there's always going to be a bottom CEO, but you're not going to ever know what their bottom at. He might be at the bottom when it comes to physical health. He might be at the bottom at stamina.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all CEOs and they're all
Yep.
millionaires. Everybody has a weak point and everybody has a strong point.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to lean off each other.
Yep.
That's the principalities of growing with each other.
Somebody's floor, somebody's ceiling.
That's right. Somebody driving the car, driving the car off. Somebody came up with the plan. Somebody, hey, listen, hey, that's it, man.
What they say, I pull up in this series, you in this series, you know what I'm saying? What's the difference? It's like by you know what I'm saying, a couple of thousand grand, motherfucker. Yeah.
Is that
So
Tory Lanez?
probably so. You probably got
Yeah,
it from
that's
Jay.
Tory Lanez right there. I know what you said.
You know what I'm saying? But
All
yeah,
right, man, go ahead.
man,
Shut it off, man. Shut us off, man.
for the sign off, we appreciate your time. We thank you for rocking with us. Make sure you share the live, follow the page, Talking That Talk Official Podcast, YouTube channel, Talking That Talk Official Podcast. You know what I mean? I got to do this one more time. King Exodus, Power, Poetry, Redemption. Make
And
sure
pick up the
you,
book, man. Pick up the
yeah,
book. Come
yeah,
to your door, man. Pick
make
up the
sure you
book.
do that. Yeah, pick up the book or else. Easy E. So, no, I'm just playing. So, yeah, make sure you tune in. We'll be back next week. We're gonna be more consistent with the episodes. We promise. Juice.
All right,
Promise.
y'all. So that's it right there. Also,
Uh,
man, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. No longer
mhm.
long content will be on the platform. Only shorts and reels, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace.
For sure, for sure. Up top, no ordinary brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. We out.